This powerful clip from the 1980s is still relevant today.
No, I was made to believe by media, by business, by advertising agencies that I need more and more and more. Have you ever heard any advertising on TV to consume less? No. No way. Whether you need a six-cylinder car or not, you have to buy it. And hurry up. When I was driving here, on the local radio station, an excited announcer said, "You hurry up, rush and save, save, save. There is a pantyhose sale." Save by buying more. See? Of course. It would be too naive to expect that KGB makes that advertising agency to do such a crazy commercial. No, of course not. But what we did when I was working for Novosti Press, we would snow plow editorial offices, student organizations, religious groups with literature of class struggle. If not directly Marxism-Leninism propaganda, then a propaganda of legitimate aspirations of working class, betterment of life, equality. Equality, mind you. President Kennedy once said, we will make America to believe that people are born equal. Are people born equal? Is there any mentioning in the Bible or any other holy scripture in any religion, if you don't believe me, go to the library and check it, there is not a single word about equality. Just the opposite. By your deeds, God will judge you. What you do is important. The merit of your personality. You cannot legislate equality. If you want to be equal, you have to be equal. You have to deserve it. And yet we build our society on the principle of equality. We say people are equal. We know it is false. It's a lie. Some people are tall and stupid. Others are short, bold, and clever.
Let's talk about what he said about the media always pushing you to want more and more and more and more. First of all, I always say the media pushes fear, and fear lowers your immune system. That's how you know they don't like you. That's how you know they're not your friends. And that's how you know among a pandemic, they're not really concerned about your health. But besides that, pushing you to always want more and more and more, not just politically and socially, but also consumer-wise, is the exact opposite mentality of being grateful and appreciative for what you have. This type of mentality of being grateful, appreciative, motivated, not playing the victim, is what every life coach and motivational speaker, whether it be Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, Eckhart Tolle, or one of thousands of new age spiritual or lifestyle teachers all across social media, it's what everybody kind of agrees on. You don't want to have a negative attitude. You don't want to have a bad mindset. You don't always want to be saying more. Books like Tao Te Ching's Lao Tzu, Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now, this has been taught for decades upon thousands of years. So what I noticed when I started paying attention to politics is if you have this mindset of gratefulness, appreciation, the modern day left wing hates it. They can't stand the fact that you're gratefulness or appreciative, especially, God forbid, you're a black conservative or a minority group that they claim to support so much. They'll give you even more backlash than they give me because they want you to feel like a victim. They want to tell you that you're weak in the society, you need their help, it's all rigged against you. That's really how they treat people on the modern day left wing, and it's quite bizarre. Coming like myself from a more spiritual perspective before I entered into politics, it's the exact opposite of a healthy, successful mindset. And to be quite honest, that's why you see them just chaotically destroying their own communities. Just like a bad victim, unhealthy mindset internally destroys your own body, and then you scapegoat and blame other people. You see it manifesting itself in areas like Portland and Seattle. Pure chaos, pure destruction, pure negative, wicked vibes. But that's for them to figure out. Now let's move on to what he talked about, social justice and equality. It's an interesting concept.
Why should we have equal opportunities? Why?
The equal opportunity to excel.
Equal opportunity in equal circumstances, yes, but you know people are different. To excel, yes, provided we reach the same level of excellency, perfection, which is hypothetical, distant future. Yes, maybe. But we know perfectly well that even with the best intentions, people could not be equal. Why should we have equality in the, say, legal system? myself, I'm considering myself a law-abiding citizen, and a person who comes here to rob and shoot, say the United States administration under Carter imported thousands of Cuban criminals. They were non-criminals, yet they were accepted. Do you think it's fair if myself and my wife from Philippines, who work like a, excuse me, horse as a lab technician in a hospital, should have the same rights as a criminal from Cuba? Why? And yet we repeat as parrots, equality, equality, equality. And the Soviet propaganda system helps us to believe that equality is something which is desirable. Democracy, as it was established by fathers of this country, of this system in the last century, is not equality. It's the system where different people, unequal people, have a chance to survive and help each other in constant competition, in constant perfection, not in equality, which is superimposed from a godfather or a nice person in Washington, D.C. And the absolute equality exists in Soviet Union, quote-unquote equality. Everybody is equal in dirt, except some people are more equal than the others in Politburo. So, the moment you bring a country to the point of almost total demoralization, when nothing works anymore, when you are not sure whether it is right or wrong, good and bad, but there's no division between evil and good, when even the leaders of church sometimes say, well, violence for the sake of justice, especially social justice, is justified in the countries like Nicaragua, El Salvador, well, maybe Rhodesia, and we listen to them and say, yeah, probably it's true. Is it true? No, it is not true. Violence is not justified, especially for the sake of quote-unquote social justice introduced by Marxist-Leninism. That is my former colleagues from Novosti Press Agency. Okay, so we reached that point. The next step is destabilization. Again, this word says for itself what it is. To destabilize all the relations, all the accepted institutions and organizations in a country of your enemy. How you do it?
And it's what many people have caught in backlash for talking about, such as Jordan Peterson, which is everybody in this country should have the equality of opportunity, but that doesn't necessarily translate to equality of outcome. If you give everybody the freedom to do as they wish, not everybody's going to achieve the same results. There's going to be different trends in demographics and genders, and that's okay because that's what happens when you give people freedom. What the left wing want, or the Marxist communists who disguise themselves as Democrats want to believe, is that they need equality of outcome. There needs to be this many people here, this many people there. We're going to force it. We're going to stop you because of your skin color. We're going to put you here because of your skin color. They're forcing or trying to force equality of outcome. This type of mentality Yuri Bezmenov knew back in the 1980s was a Marxist-Leninist idea that will lead to your demise. Isn't it interesting how relevant what he just said is to today? And isn't it interesting that the Black Lives Matter founder admits that they are trained Marxists?
We are trained Marxists. We are super versed on sort of ideological theories.
Is it true? No, it is not true. Violence is not justified, especially for the sake of quote-unquote social justice introduced by Marxist-Leninism. That is my former colleagues.
If you didn't know, Marxist comes from the name Karl Marx, who was the father of communism. So when they tell you that they're not communists or they don't believe in communism, they're almost definitely lying. That's what their ideology is. That's what their agenda is. If you look at their website, their entire political policy is that. You have even teachers' unions demanding socialist communist ideology to open up schools. Is this about health? Is this about science? Or is this about your political communist ways? It's pretty obvious, but we can pretend like it's not. But back to this idea of equality. I'm pretty good at basketball. basketball, but I'm not equal to Michael Jordan. I'm not equal to LeBron James. There is no equality. I could work hard. I could maybe make it to the league, but overall, we're never going to be equal. The only way that we could be equal, if you have a room of 100 people that want to be equal at basketball, is you have to lower the top person to the common denominator, which is the bottom person, because the bottom person can never be that good, but you can hurt that person and drag them down to the level that the bottom is on. And this is a simple concept most people don't understand. I've seen this meme a lot, which is really like a socialist communist meme where they're just saying, we could all be equal. All you have to do is take from you and we'll give it to you and everything will be equal, right? Well, that's an interesting theory. I like that meme. Here's another one though. Hey, look, we're all equal now. This is how you even the playing field. Or there's this one that says this is really what capitalism is. It's not the other one. And don't get me wrong, I don't think we have a real capitalist system. I think we're leaning on socialism, communism now. You have the government shutting down business as Amazon's allowed to swallow everything up because you're not even allowed to compete with them anymore because of the COVID shutdown, but that's a different story. The point I'm getting to is these ideas of socialism, communism, and social justice and equality can work if you're honest about what's going on. In cities like New York, Los Angeles, Portland, and Seattle, what they're doing is bending over to the criminal, the robber, the murderer, bending society over backwards for them. What they're doing is showing weakness. They're not taking care of homelessness. They're allowing it. They're subsidizing it. They're penalizing you if you talk about it. They're allowing their own citizens to destroy their community. In some cases, they make it easier to rob, easier to commit domestic terrorism, and then they turn around and lash out at you if you don't agree with their left-wing ways. So I hope people are starting to understand how they talk a big game, but in reality, it doesn't translate to success, prosperity, or equality among groups. It leads to chaos, insanity, and them not even allowing equality of opportunity by purposely targeting certain races, which they're doing on the left now and at major corporations, taking away your job or opportunity because of your skin color, and not understanding that weakness and foolishness and dishonesty and ignorance doesn't lead to prosperity and utopia. It leads to chaos and demise. Let me know your thoughts, but I can almost guarantee you none of these cities are going to get better until they get conservative leadership or a Democrat or a liberal who finally stops lying and being weak and bending over backwards for people who destroy the community. Somebody who's willing to actually take care of homelessness and look at it accurately to solve it and improve it, as opposed to ignore it, subsidize it, and just watch it spiral out of control. Meanwhile, millions of people are moving to conservative areas, whether it be conservative cities or conservative states. These areas are not going to get better. And whether people want to admit it or not, a lot of it stems from the ungrateful, wicked, negative mind that has become modern day liberalism or socialism, communism. No gratefulness, no appreciation, no love for their country, no love for themselves or their community. All bad vibes, all bad manifestations, all backwards ways of thinking, and try to hate on people with a healthy, optimistic, motivational mind. It's that combined with their false ideas of equality and social justice are really just socialist, communist, Marxist ideas that have historically worked 0% of the time. And if you need to understand how they don't work in real time, just keep your eyes on Portland or Seattle or any major Democrat-run area that's going to cave to these people and this ideology without enforcing the law and looking out for taxpayers, families, and people who work. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Have a beautiful day. Check out my Patreon if you like. I answer all messages there, but if not, have a beautiful day. I'll be back.